What is up, Alpha community? It's a pleasure to have you guys here. Your host, Brian Jimenez, here at Alpha Journey. Here today, we have a special guest and a good friend of mine, a killer overall. And some of us know him as Tiburoncito. Some of us know him as DJ Tiburon, and some of them know him as a Tiburon killer. But in my opinion, he's Yair. Plain and simple. But anyways, with that said, it is a special opportunity to bring a guest to this caliber, and I would say that we're gonna dive into more of a mentality shift. And that to us is important here at Alpha Energy since a lot of it is growth. But first and foremost, Yair, go ahead and introduce yourself, brother. I know that it was a special introduction, but I want you to just pretty much go about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, you did a really good job on the introduction, man. But yeah, like I would first say, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity and for coming up to my life because we both came aligned to that point. So I would say, we're both in the same area from Hamptonville, from good old countryside. So,
And as a matter of fact, our dad is actually from the same area too,
dang,
which is crazy, right?
I mean, I'm just now finding out.
Well, you mentioned Guerrero, like he's from Guerrero, exactly.
yeah.
My dad's from Guerrero too, so that is another point that brings us together. But yeah, brother. So like growing up is like what do you feel that like as a kid growing up was like that key component of yourself? I know that you were an individual that always wanted more out of life, but like what was it around you, even coming from a small town, of course, is like what was that about you when you were a kid?
I mean, I feel like it's soccer. Ever since we played soccer, like we always had that inner child of doing more. Because we always have this dream to become something. Like a huge soccer player. And as we go later on in life, like choosing a college path, right? And once we started finding out, it's like, dang, we need money to go to college. Because we didn't really grow up with money per se. Like I know we both grew up like that, and it's like, dang, like what are my options now? So you kind of have to crush that dream, in order to like kind of be a man, quotation marks, and figure out your own way on how to do.
How
live.
old were you when you realized that you had to be a man and stop thinking like a kid?
Yeah, I would say as soon as like maybe 17, like 16. Like my first phone. I had to get my first phone, my first car. And everything was on my own. Like I didn't have my parents to depend on.
So other than like somewhere to live, like your parents kind of like were like, here, like this is your life, like you have to work for your things, right?
Yeah.
Which do you feel like that helped you, or you were kind of like holding grudges?
No, I feel like at the end, like in the beginning, it kind of may have been something that's like, well, we don't really have an option. Like either I do something or I could just live simply as, doing nothing.
Of course, man. So like when you were growing up and you're seeing all these kids like getting things and like getting simple as phones and like maybe getting all of these nice shoes, nice clothes, and like you realize that you weren't really giving anything. What was your thought process around that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like because I grew up like in a farm, all that mattered was like I had food. Like I would see that and I'd be like, dang, it'd be nice, But at the end of the day, I was like, I'm pretty content with my life because like I get fed, with the chickens that we had. We would kill the chickens. We would get eggs, Sometimes we would have goats, and lambs.
Yeah.
So like the goats and lambs were kind of like the golden nuggets, because like the meat was like so tender. So I enjoyed that type of lifestyle. And going now over here or of course in Greensboro, it's a little completely different. So
Absolutely, man. Well, that's amazing because you kind of did grow up in a farm in like the farm environment. So like that's where like I guess the values were instilled in you, where like you didn't make that a big deal. Where somebody in your shoes, another guy in your shoes would have made that a big deal. Like, why don't I have these nice stuff? Like, why like? And you're so demanding, but because your parents, I would say, instilled great values in you, you didn't really look at life like that, and you weren't materialistic at all when it came to those type of things. Correct?
Right. I would say at that point of life, I wasn't until I got brought into a different city and I was able to make my own income and literally choose what to do with it.
Okay, so you kind of when you were just left alone, right?
Yeah.
You had nobody guiding you, nobody like instilling like more of a path for you or carving a path for you at all. If anything, like I guess you get to a point in life where you realize that you have to be a man and you have to start building your own journey, right? When did that happen for you?
I would say as soon as I went to college, I went to Surrey 1st and I just leaned into something that was kind of more simple. And I chose the easiest path, which is the automotive industry.
Why?
Right.
Why did you choose the easiest path?
Since I got my first car, literally the only way for me to drive it or make it worth it was by replacing the engine. So I replaced the engine on that first car that I had. It was a little Civic. I feel like everyone has this car.
Yeah.
It's a little 97 Civic, and I just had to put a new engine on it. And that's what I did. And ever since then, I started feeling this little spark of like actually, pursuing it more. And I, legitimately started fixing other people's cars, like, the neighbor's car or just like any other person that needed a fix to their car, I would do it for them. And, I would get some income off of that,
Were you teaching yourself?
I would say both. I would teach myself, but my stepdad was also there.
Oh,
But the thing of it is like me and him would sometimes clash because he would have his ways of doing things and I had my own ways of doing things. So like my mind has a way of like breaking down something when I see it and I can break it down visually. And then I'm like, well, it should work like this and like that, right? So at the end of the day, like he saw it, he had a different perspective. I guess that's the best way to say it on how engines worked. So at the end of the day, I went to college for this, and then that's when I started learning a lot deeper
yeah, of
about,
course.
not just the mechanics, but the actual electrical part too.
Yeah, and you were going through that process. But I mean, when you're going through high school, like I always looked up to you when it came to academics. I feel like you were always on top of your game, even going through like middle school when I got to know you. And we were very competitive individuals, that was a great thing about it. But I do remember one thing is that you would take your school serious. Why was that?
I would say most of anything that was mathematical, the numbers always made sense in my head. Like I could just imagine a solution, and I just saw it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the actual answer.
So you were very good at math.
Yeah, math. I was really good at.
Okay.
And that's just one of the things. When it came to literature and reading, that's probably one of my weaknesses.
Okay.
Even though I did end up taking AP classes like for English, it was one of those. I'm just like, oh, I gotta read.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all there was to it. But I feel like academically, I felt like I needed to make my family proud. So
Okay.
it's like I needed to do an impact, right? And I feel like it was either all or nothing.
What made you realize that you need to impact your family and you need to make them proud?
So the thing of it is like, no one really ever graduated from high school, like in my family. I was the first one to graduate high school. So that was one of the main key factors of me like saying, you know what, let's do something big. If I'm going to do something, I just don't know if it's a fire that's always been within me to actually make an impact in this world.
Okay,
Right.
awesome. And whenever it came about, like moving on into like high school, we graduated high school. You're in college. How was going through college for you? I know that. I mean, for example, like we went to similar schools, but at the end of the day, for me, it was more like, oh dang, like I'm struggling already, and I'm still trying to pursue a college degree, and I barely have money for these type of things. Like, how was that for you? I don't know if it was similar to you.
Yeah. The college journey is insane. Like sometimes I make myself think about it. But like what was happening, I first started with a regular seafood job at a restaurant. And then I just went to Surrey a little bit, right? And then while I was going through that, I realized that I needed more money. So the college wasn't really too bad, like the mechanics and everything, like the classes. I was still managing it, right? Until financially, I was like, you know what, I need more money. So then I started working on the third shift at Lidl. I don't know if you remember that company there in Hamptonville.
Yeah, I remember that company,
But
bro.
man.
Everybody in Hamptonville works there.
Yeah, yeah, bro. And like when I worked a Lidl third shift and then went to school, bro, there'd be times I'd be getting off of Lidl and I'll go straight to the class with no sleep. But it's just the drive of me saying like, okay, we need to at least graduate because this is what I'm pursuing, right? So it's funny because like once I realized that I kept overworking myself, I literally almost hit a bus on my way to like to school, and I had my sister with me because I was gonna drop her off. So that kind of made me snap, and I'm like, you know what, like you probably need to prioritize your health. You know, like
Yeah,
I need to actually be functioning at least
absolutely.
somewhat because that every human needs sleep, at least some sort of sleep.
Yeah.
So I quit the job, and then I realized that the when I started putting more time into school, then the school I didn't feel like I was actually growing. So there's a lot of factors, but at the end, I ended up transferring over to Wilkes Community College. So Wilkes, when I did the transfer over, I had a lot of credits, right? So I actually ended up having to put extra time with less classes. So that gave me the time to actually go work on different areas. So that's when I used to work for Evans Auto Parts, and I was working as a what do you call it? When you work in the school. There's a term for that. I was working within the school, and then they actually had another job there for Nissan near Wilkesboro. So I had three different things, and then plus I was still fix cars at home.
Yeah.
So technically, I had four jobs, and then I was still going to school, but it was more manageable. So I could just remember Luis. Sometimes he'd come by and just like, hey, bro, like, do you need any help? Or like sometimes we have projects, and he'd be like, bro, let's do something. So it's just interesting how now I'm just focused on one thing. And sometimes I find myself I can't manage some things, right?
Yeah.
But back then I was still able to manage all of this.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. I mean, I think you mentioned a lot of things that I wasn't even aware of. Like the working the third shift, Alida. Like at the end of my senior year, well, at the end of my senior year, what I was doing is that I dropped my fourth shift to work, and it's like, and it wasn't even like a want, it was more like a need, like I need to do it. It wasn't even like I want to do that. Like I would have much rather have my fourth period and do something, but it's like I needed the money, like you get to a point where with the background and where you're living that like the jobs are limited, it's not like you can go work at the mall. The mall is like 35 minutes out. Like it's like you need to work those jobs. So I ended up working at a candle factory, and what I was doing, bro, it was that I was going in at 4:30 p.m. or 3:30 p.m., 4 p.m., somewhere around there, and I wouldn't get off till like 4 a.m. And then I would go home, sleep for 2 hours, and wake up and be at class like at 7:15, and I had a college course like right at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people know that, but I was only sleeping 2 hours throughout the week, and I was like, the days for me were like a blur too. It was crazy. It's like I'm there but like I'm not really there. And like I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, holy shit, like how am I doing this? But then you're just so driven to like, what are you gonna do in your life, and like that's when you know that you're fucking attacking life with everything, And I remember those days. It was like they were tough, but then like after that, when I got over that, I was like, okay, like I can breathe a little bit. No, bro, it's like it gets tougher and tougher because going into college is like I was working like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 12 hours. I know I said it in one of our episodes, but it's like 7 a.m. No. Yeah, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single freaking Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was school. But also I had another job that was GNC Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's like I had no fucking time. But it's like I was so determined, like similar to you, to like be successful in something. And I didn't know what yet, But I was like so fucking determined. For me, it was like going at it, And it's like at those times you don't even know what you're doing, but you're just fucking driven.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, But like I know that I'm talking right now a lot, but like that's because like that's another thing that we have is similar. It's like that work ethic, It's like I was not ever like, oh my god, like all I want to do is work. Like I knew that I want to use more my mind than it was like my hands and labor, but when you don't have experience, like that's all you can do. You have no knowledge of like what's out there, so you have no idea. So you're just kind of like following, like you're kind of like following the crowd. It's like everybody's telling you go to school, and that's why we go to school. And as everybody's telling you do this, do that, and it's like school does not prepare you for life. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't. Like it doesn't. Like nothing prepared me for life. So like going into it is like the only way that you get prepared to life is by freaking living it.
Right.
And the experiences that life teaches you, of course, because if I knew what I've known now, is like I would have just done life completely different. But you have to go what you have to go through, right? In order for you to become the person that like you are right now. So even then, talking after that, like you going through all of those things, like I guess like that's where you instill like your work ethic and a lot of those things. How was it for you to like finally like move out and pursue your own journey? Like was that something, how was that for you?
I feel like I was very influenced by the external influences. What I mean about this is like I did have a girlfriend at that time that I really wanted to just like support her in every possible way. So after college, like I still had her to support me. So once I got the job at Mercedes-Benz here in Greensboro, so what happened is like once I got this job opportunity, they offered for me to go to this academy for like 4 months straight, right? So like the thing of it is it's gonna be in Jacksonville, Florida. So I would literally have to live there, figure out how to exactly live, but they did also offer to pay for it, right?
That was awesome.
So that was really good. What I didn't know is like obviously I was with Luis too. I mean, I don't know, you know Luis.
Yeah.
Shout out to Luis. What's up, Luis? If you're seeing this,
What's up, brother? He's definitely seen this.
And so like I remember the place that we got together, he got paid to stay, right? And I didn't know that they were paying for his place, but I still had to pay for my place. So it was a little different. It was a little interesting, but I was like, well, either way, like we're gonna figure this out. So the journey of this is like those 4 months was pretty much cramming almost 2 to 3 years of regular experience, like Mercedes-Benz technicians, cramming it all in 4 months. So it's like they're teaching you so many things on steroids, and you have to learn it. If not, you're gonna be dropped. And if you're dropped, then you're gonna end up having $10,000 worth of debt because you failed. Like they're still gonna charge you for that. So there's a lot of pressure that now I'm like, they offered this, and now I'm just like, I have to actually like surpass and be good.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, towards the whole journey, like it was intense, and I really empathize for those that had no clue and that came from UTI Tech, that literally had no experience at Mercedes. I had at least like 4 to 6 months under my belt already, so I kind of understood how the game worked for mechanics, but they had no clue.
They were kind of looking up to you guys on like teaching them too.
So me and Luis were like literally the leaders and like showing them like, you know, the hacks or like more information to make it easier on them. And for those that picked up, they picked up. For those that didn't, like, I'm sorry, you know, like.
Did a lot of people drop?
Yeah, I would say like, I think like 4 or 5 got dropped out of 14.
Oh, wow. That's a big number.
Yeah. And some of them were dropped just because they simply couldn't wake up early enough. They were just like seconds late.
Wow, bro. It's crazy how people just like, bro, you got such an amazing opportunity, but that's what the U.S. is, bro.
Yeah.
That's what the U.S. is. I'm going to take you out of the U.S. I know you haven't been, but like, the thing is like, bro, that's literally what the U.S. is. It's like you're a fucking waste of air because it's like you don't appreciate what you have in the opportunity. The reason why we do, I guess, is also because we've seen our parents struggle, you know? Exactly. You see your family struggle. You see what they go through. And it's like, if that doesn't fucking drive you, I don't know what the fuck will. Because even now, like, I'll walk into people's houses and their kid is 25 years old living with their parents. And it's like inside his room playing video games while I'm giving a whole presentation about solar and I'm 27. It's like, bro, like, what in the fuck are you doing with your life, bro? Like, your parents are out here grinding, making 30, 40. You got parents making 80,000, whatever that is, right? And you're okay with, like, watching them go to work every single freaking day to have a roof in your head and like food for you to eat, and you're okay with sitting down, turning the TV on and watching or fucking Netflix or playing a video game. Like, that's sad. Like, that's when you're doing things wrong. And it's not their fault also. Like, it's also the parents' fault because you're giving them that, like you're giving them that, like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's like you're allowing them to do that because you're not calling them out on their BS. But nobody teaches parents how to be parents, and nobody teaches sons how to be sons. You know, it's like
Yeah.
that's life. But just think that like that should be something that drives you. But like aside of the point, right, just focusing on like where you're at is like, I can't believe somebody's gonna let go of an opportunity just for waking up late. But it happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, and it's because they haven't really seen what's out there, and they haven't seen how this is all an opportunity. Everything that we do is an opportunity. We don't get the chance to wake up every single day and breathe, but whenever we do, we don't think about it like we got the opportunity to live today. We think about it like a normal way of looking at life. So, aside of the point, right? Like skipping over into like that Mercedes is like, how did that go? I know that you went into it after like you graduated and you did that. I don't know if you were planning to bring something up or.
I mean, just the fact that it's just interesting how like how driven someone can be. Like I was, I mean, I would say I still am, just in different applications.
Yeah.
But like I was so driven into like being the best to the point I actually got the all-star. Well, like like the top student type of
Oh, that's awesome,
award.
bro!
So
Congratulations.
like that was pretty cool. It was either between me or Luis. Like
Uh-huh.
it just had to be between us two.
Yeah.
And it ended up being me. And like, just one of the greatest things because I feel like he did see that I would actually study some nights. Like I would
Uh-huh.
actually put some time, even though it would be no brainer for me to be the best. I would still put the time to actually learn more about
Yeah.
about whatever they gave us because
Yeah.
I wanted to take advantage of it. Not saying anything, Luis, but I'm just spitting out facts.
Yeah, bro. I mean, dude, I think like we have a special group, like you, me, Luis. I know we got
Yeah.
Miguel, Angel, which is like lost right now. I don't know where the fuck he's at. But at the end of the day, it's like we're a good like group of people that were like, even though we wouldn't see each other much, it's like we could connect and like yo, like how's life going, And it's like we
Yeah.
got so busy at one point where like it was just fucking school and work, school and work, school and work. But like we were all going fucking at it too,
Yeah,
which
I
it was very
know.
like beautiful to see. But with that said, is like after you got over all those things, did you move to Greensboro or?
Yeah, so pretty much what happened is like once that was like once I accomplished these things, the biggest thing that was very controversial is that after all of this achievement, I came back driving back home crying because I got it all and then I never felt better. Like I was like, after all of this, I thought I would at least like feel something like good about myself, but nothing was better. I went back to the world just being the same. So I felt like my purpose wasn't exactly fulfilled like the way I.
So you were
felt like I
working
should've.
really, really hard for achievements and like recognition and awards, but like after you reached that point, you felt like you were still empty inside, and you felt like that was gonna fill you up, right? So
Yeah.
I guess that's a lesson that like life allowed you to go through, which is good. But like you realize, and like now looking at back now, like what do you think that was?
It just goes back to the root cause, like going back to the idea that I made a choice based off something that I maybe will be able to work it out. This was always a backup plan. It wasn't really something that I wanted to do.
So what did you want to do?
It was always more based off music and helping people out. I realized through high school I had liked to help people out. I don't know. I don't remember the Juntos, the 4-H program.
Yeah, I remember that.
So like when I was in there, I liked to help. Like I would say like people for math classes, for anything like any subjects except for English, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would help out a lot of people from that area. And I realized that this is actually what I like. But the only reason I didn't do it is because my mom was literally like, well, literally, this is not going to help you make money. Like, the only thing that's going to make money is, mechanics, like, just go with something that's actually real, right?
Yeah, bro. And at the end of the day, it's like, they don't know any better. Like, they don't understand, like, where you're coming from. They don't see it. They're wanting to protect you, But,
Yeah.
but it's like, they want the path for you that makes logical sense. And when you're young, like, that's all you know. You don't know anything in life. And it's like, let me go for it. Let me just continue pushing. And you gotta find the purpose, right? You gotta find the reasons why you're doing what you're doing. And I don't think that a lot of people get stuck in life for the same exact reasons, right? Because they're like, oh well, listen to these people and like they said that this is gonna be success. My parents said this was gonna be success. My family said this was gonna be success. Everybody around me has been telling me this is gonna be success. But you get to a point where like that's what happens with like a lot of college students is like they get depressed after they graduate because they realize that this is not something that they want to do for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
You know, they realize that this is not something that they want to do for the rest of their lives, and they're like wondering like, is this life what is this really what life is? It's like me coming home and like wasting my money and like paying bills and like going back at it every single day, and it starts feeling like a jail cell within your brain, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. And it's like there's so much smoke and it's so sluggish. There's no clarity, and you don't know where to go from there, and it's just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And like I see it all the time, bro, and I see it multiple times over and over again. And like you can tell people, but at the end of the day, it's like you got to get yourself out of it by yourself, and like you can only encourage and it like lead, and you can always do these things. And I mean, like obviously you're telling me now, but like at the time you had zero idea, right? It's like, why do I feel this emptiness? Like you don't know. So what'd you do right after?
Honestly, just the regular person would do. Just grind and make as much money as possible and find a way to fill it up. Right? So the only way for me to do that, it's kind of interesting. So I would say I probably fell in the same rat race trap of like everyone else. Get a nice car. And then after that, if that doesn't work out, get at least a better apartment, like something more that may be fulfilling or able to distract you longer. And then eventually I started going as far as like, going out, every weekend. And I would say it's pretty average for everyone to do that now, especially in our age.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just get lost. Like you have no answers. Life's like you just don't have any answers. It's like you're just there.
Yeah.
And you wake up and you're there, and like you're like, okay, was this supposed to be good? And like in all reality, you were doing better than like maybe most people that you knew. Correct?
I would say so.
Yeah, you were doing better than most people knew, and like it was like even though that you were doing better, like. Did you like at that point feel like comfortable? And you were like, okay, I guess this is my life.
At some point, yeah. I could agree that I did feel comfortable. And I was like, you know what? This is it. Like, let's just
make the best of it.
Make the best of it, yeah.
Damn. Like how long did it have to go for you to make that decision though? Like to realize that? Like did you ever go back to work and you're like, this can't be it. Like this can't be it. Like there has to be something else.
I feel like there would be always a voice behind me. I would say the journey of me being lost was probably like a good 5 years.
Holy crap, guys. Like, can you say that again? How long was it?
Like 5 years.
Bro, it was 5 years. You might be looking at those 5 years. That's a half decade as like huge in a long time. But in all reality, bro, there's people that live their lives stuck for 40 years, bro. So it's like you need to be grateful over that. You need to be grateful like it was 5 years that I felt stuck like that. And every single day, like I was going into work and I was going out. And like how important was like your environment at that time?
My environment didn't really matter. I mean, like realistically, like the only people that would fit in are the ones that drank and like to go out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, do you feel like that was distracting you from what's like really out there for you?
I would say I attracted that. Me not knowing that I was attracting it.
What do you think that was?
It's just, the emptiness. I feel like most people, the only reason why they do that is because they're empty from the inside and they're trying to replace it with something.
Let's go. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. So emptiness is just for us to look for something external, which is mostly alcohol. And we're just trying to find a way to replace that emptiness.
Damn, bro, that is super powerful because it's like you don't realize these things when you're at there.
Yeah, when you're there, no.
You don't realize it, and you might as well like hear it, but like you're not gonna connect with that thought. But I think that thought is super important because you attract what you're inside. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like it's like you really attract what you're inside. You attract your tribe. I said it today's meeting. We're gonna attract our tribe. So you don't even realize you wake up one day and next thing you know, you have people thinking at that frequency and at that level of like, but they truly feel the same exact way with you, but you guys don't sit down and have a conversation like, do you feel empty? Do I feel empty? Like, no, like you guys don't have that conversation because you guys are looking for the same thing, which is distractions from your emptiness, because you don't know what your purpose is, you don't know what your goal is. You've been following and doing exactly every single day what the whole world has been telling you to do, and you realize like, this can't be it. And because you realize that, you're like, let me distract myself because I don't know what this is. I don't know what life is. I don't know what living is. I don't know who I am. You know, like, and you just are stuck.
Yeah.
And you get into a routine of doing that every single week, every single day, that like you can't even comprehend what the hell is going on with your life.
Yeah.
And then it's like digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper into the ground, and maybe you see and you're just like, fuck it. Or maybe you see and you're just like, let me dig myself out. But like, can you explain how that process works or worked for you at the time? Like, what were you doing? Like, what were you going through? Like, why were you doing what you were doing?
Yeah, so one of the things that really hit me hard was like I did get married at some point, and pretty much like the fact is like I didn't really understand that. I didn't even know why we actually broke up. Like, you know, like I knew there was issues, but I never really understood what went wrong until I finally like kind of like, you know, started running away from that problem, which is kind of how I ended up going to like festivals and like just going to multiple shows. Like I would just go out of state at that point just to escape the reality. But the thing of it is, it's like there's at some point, well, like I did do, you know, like psychedelics, and eventually it made me change my perspective, because at some point with psychedelics, you can't really play with it. Like you can, but there's going to be a point where like it's going to hit you rock bottom, and it's going to literally teach you lessons. So that's kind of what happened. It made me see the perspective of what I've been doing, and it kind of made me calm down and be like, look, like I need to dig deep and figure out what in the world's going wrong.
Absolutely,
like,
bro.
I'm just running away for so long, and I was getting tired of it, and I was just like, why? Like, why am I trying to escape something? And it was just myself. I was trying to escape myself.
So like, dude, that's so powerful, bro. Like, I'm so happy that you bring this up, because it's like you're telling me that there were so many problems happening at home. There's so many things that happen at home. Did you feel like that caused trauma?
Yeah.
There was a lot of trauma there, and you started like looking for anything to take you out of your environment at that time. And it's like, out of the state, like you're saying, like all these things, like in all reality, like how helpful were these events? Like going through like these festivals and like listening to his music, like how helpful was that?
So I would say the first time you go to one, it's beautiful and everything. But I would say the only reason, you have to be intentional with how you do things. Because my first time I went there, I just went to escape it. And it just gives you in that another trap of like you spending money, you know, like you go out in the most luxurious version. So you get to choose a beautiful cage on where to trap yourself with. Right.
Wow.
So the beautiful thing of it is like you can either choose to escape it, which you have the keys for it. It's just that sometimes you literally just throw the keys away. You're like, I like this trap.
Holy shit. Yeah, I think that you just spoke a lot, and I think that a lot of people couldn't relate with you because like you're somebody that's been through those cages and has been through those things and has experienced all of these items in your life, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, you're blowing my mind away because that is so powerful. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with you about that. So I really appreciate you opening that up and like communicating about it. But what's really impactful here is the fact that you're like, okay, you choose your cage at that given point. And like, once you start going to these events, you feel like you are opening a new cage and it feels really good and beautiful, right? But then you're so distracted that you don't even realize it's just another cage that you're just escaping into. So it's like, it's like, wow, like that to me is so impactful. But so like, it's eventually like a more luxurious distraction. A more luxury distraction.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, dude. And I mean, I don't know, like it's kind of tough because a lot of people don't realize, and like you start just doing your life and you just fucking like you can easily get lost.
Yeah, it's very easy to get lost. Like, if you really don't know who you are, like, it's easy to just be manipulated by the way the world runs. And that's the unfortunate thing about it. Like, the reason why I grew up more into the music is because I started seeing a lot of different perspective on how to do things. So that's how I realized it's like, dang, like, this is all just a trap. Like, I'm like, you literally just have to be a better person as an individual to finally start creating certain things. So the thing of it is like, for me, the biggest thing that I want to do or realize is that going back to the helping people, right? In the end, it's just very beautiful to see someone that's like, who were in this trap, and then they're like, oh my God, I finally found the keys to get out.
Yeah.
And then they willingly did it on their own,
Is that what you did?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to go to how you did that, but I think that there's more to discover of like where we at right now, right? And I think that like when you were going to these events and like hanging out with your friends and like stuff and like doing all these things, like that's all beautiful and all at the moment. But like, did you ever like ask yourself like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I here? Like, do I feel right? Like what's going on? Did you ever ask yourself those questions?
Yeah. I feel like, especially after going through so many festivals, I would say there would be moments where like, I'm like, why am I here exactly for? And then like I would sometimes ask that, and I would manifest like random people that I would find it. Dude, I'm talking about festivals are huge. It's like
They're big, yeah.
Yeah, they're huge. And the odds of me finding someone that I used to know, it's pretty crazy. So I actually met one of the guys that I went to academy with for Mercedes. I'm talking about 14 people that ended up being like 10 to 9 people that graduated. I met one of them in the festival. So like this is one of the
That's
craziest.
fucking crazy, bro.
So that's one of the craziest things. So that me seeing him triggered me going back to the time that I literally thought I knew I had it all, right? And then takes me back to like, wait, why did you actually meet this person in a festival? And then it's like, I'm here to fix my trauma.
Damn, bro. And I think that, dude, that's such a beautiful story, to be honest. And like, it gives me chills, bro. Like, it literally gives me chills because, dude, I just love life and I love experiences. And like, I think that if you have not had like those moments of like self-discovery of like wow, like we're talking about awakening moments in your life, like you wouldn't feel the way that I feel. Like, you guys could be listening to this right now and like you guys would not feel anything, but it's because you haven't gotten to a level where like you've achieved like that self-discovery of like, bro, this is what it is, right? And that to me is super powerful, bro. But with that said, is like going into it is like you had that moment, but you attracted that, you manifested that into existence because it's the things that life was trying to teach you, correct?
Yeah.
So getting out of that zone and like maybe like coming back, like when did you actually make the decision? How long did it take from like being in that cage to be like, yo, like I need to get out?
Yeah, I feel like it goes in many levels. Like, I feel like it's like there's this huge cage that you have to get out of. And pretty much all my focus is that I need to get out of a bigger cage to get myself out of this other cage. Because I feel like there's...
So there was like cages.
I feel like there's like...
There's,
yeah, I feel like it's almost like that. But like at the end of the day, like you choose to like... It's like a peeling an onion. Like you have to literally like keep going through layers and just finally... Eventually, the biggest thing is like the huge shell. Yeah. And then after that, you just keep going through. It's almost like literally going through therapy, finding out why you have so much trauma.
Yeah, bro.
As time goes by, like you're finding these things out. And it's just slowly, I want to say if it's easier, I would say you understand more and you're able to comprehend and wrap your hand around it. And you're like, okay, I need to fix this. And, back to awareness, it's just
absolutely
literally back to awareness.
It's like being aware that there's trauma there. And like so many times we know it, but we choose to like hide it. Yeah. And like put it under the fucking, like as soon as like we feel it, we're like, fuck no. It's like, no, I'm not going through that. I'm not facing that. And like we try to run away from it, But in our reality, we have to go through it.
Yeah.
The better and the best version of ourselves is there. And I think that personally, like the people that do go through the hardest trauma, and like and there's multiple layers of it, there's a reason behind it. And I think that God puts you in positions that He knows you can handle. You know what I'm saying? But He wants you to discover those things, because if you don't ever go through them, you don't become that version that's able to give and pour more value into others.
Correct.
So right now, you're still discovering yourself, and guess what? Your entire life is self-discovery.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing about it. But like the beautiful thing about this, Yair, is like this story is gonna impact people. And like, you have to understand that the only way to get to impact more people is by discovering yourself more and more and more and more and more. And that's a beautiful thing about life. And a lot of people, it's not gonna make sense, which is totally fine. But I know it's gonna make sense to you, right? So in general, it's like going through these traumas, going through these things, and it's like you're discovering. And I want to take a moment back to go to a little bit to like the psychedelic sides of things. And like, dude, what kind of crazy like visions did you have when you were going through this stuff?
Oh man, I feel like there's so many stories because I've done it so many times. Like I said, it was a point where like it literally had to slap me in the face and tell me, hey, like it's not just for fun, right? So that says a lot for those who do psychedelics. You don't like they'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Because when you overdo it, like it's bad.
like it tells you like
Yeah.
like yo, fucking stop, bitch.
Yeah, like that's why people. This is the misconception. This is the thing for me. I believe this pretty firmly. Good trips and bad trips, right?
Okay.
So the good trips are whenever everything's nice and high.
pretty.
But the bad trips is when you hit that trauma.
Mm.
And people are like, what is this trauma for? I don't need this. That's why they call it bad trips. So when you get faced on trauma, you face it like head on. You don't really say, oh, hello, like it's head on.
Yeah.
Like you have to deal with it right then and there. And if you're not prepared, then you'll literally like, you feel like you're going to go nuts. So I feel like I hit a point like that where it was my lowest low, and literally I just couldn't comprehend what I was feeling and why I felt so much tension. Not just with like how I would feel with the universe, but just with myself. I feel like myself was splitting in two. So it almost felt like I was completely dissipating my ego. But once I came back to my normal self, it was like I didn't know who I was. Like that perception of who I used to be was gone.
Yeah.
And then I came with doubts, and I'm like, well, who am I? So, but I mean, going back to the question of just like, what did I see visually? I feel like you could see YouTube videos like look like psychedelic, like trippy videos,
Yeah.
and it kind of will look like that, like visually, and they just look kind of like like these, but it's just like wavy.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. But what was crazy is the feeling.
It's like that's what really like kicks your endorphins, no?
Yeah.
And like it makes you go like, oh damn, like I love this feeling, and that's
Yeah.
why people get addicted to it, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Because I've never done a psychedelic, so
Yeah.
it's like, to me, it's like a wild thing. Like I've heard it multiple times from different people, and like the thing is like the only type of visualizing that I've had is to like meditation and like a couple like times like being by myself with nature, which is a beautiful way to like visualize. But in all reality, like there's like other frequencies that you have to go into in order to get to that level of thinking. And for me, it's like I've been able to do it naturally, and that's what's crazy, So it's like it sees you like you can tap into other type of things, but it's really digging inside
Yeah.
of you to find those things. Like if not, you're never gonna like understand that and comprehend that, right? Which, yeah, like dude, that's crazy, man. Like I think that in general, like that within itself is already like allows you to discover different things, right? But here's the thing, right? I remember like I spoke to you a couple times, and like even I started hanging out with you like after a couple of things when I moved back to Greensboro, where you were my closest friend at the time, and I was like, yo, like let me talk to this guy. Like it sounds to me like he's cool, and like things. And like at the end of the day, it's like you think that people that are going out, throwing the parties and doing all this crazy shit are cool, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you feel like at the time. You know, it's like everybody wants to talk to me, everybody wants to communicate. In our reality, they want to do it because they want to go get lost with you and get drunk. So it's like, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this is not, bro. Like all those fucking people are fucking fake. In our reality, like they're fucking fake, bro. Like who's gonna come and rescue you when you fucking wreck your car? Nobody, bro.
Yeah.
They're not even gonna fucking touch you, bro. So it's like, here's the thing, right? So there's a moment where like I spoke to you and you were like, bro, I'm never sober. And I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Whoa, yeah.
I was like, yeah, bro, like I'm never sober. Like I'm always on something. So like, how was that for you? Because at the time it's like, holy shit, like what the hell is he talking about for me, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it was two moments. There was one that was pretty bad, and like I literally didn't know. I was just so lost, you know, because like even like I said, this is like a 5-year journey of being lost. So there is,
Bro.
If you talk about
how old were you at the time?
Let's see. So I started drinking like right at 21. It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
at 21, I told myself I'm gonna black out the first night. If I like alcohol, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. But I ended up loving it. So, you know, just starting from there, you know, like I
That's
would
crazy.
So yeah, I would say ever since then, like once I turned 26, like from then and there, every single weekend I looked forward to do something crazy.
And sorry to interrupt, Yair. Like Yair was the guy that's like academics, physical, physical and academics is like his number one thing, and like he goes all his years through that till you reach 21.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about like this guy, you did not drink 16, 17, 18,
Nah.
right? Nothing, 19. Like we're talking about like a great kid, like great parents, like great values, and then he touches alcohol one time and then it's like boom,
Yeah. Yeah.
you go back
and you really don't know what you've done until after. Like it's just something that you let something control you, and you just have no control of it until I don't know, until sometimes you just have to be sober. Like eventually money runs out, and then you're like, dang, now I actually have to chill out.
eventually money runs out.
Yeah.
It's like you get so addicted that you don't even realize how much money you're spending.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about I would spend up to like $500 each weekend just on alcohol, just to
No
buy like 6
fucking way.
bottles. Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and then sometimes it would just be like on everyone. Like I would include my roommates too. Be like,
Yeah.
all right, let's all just like go and let's pendejadas así.
Yeah,
Like,
then that's crazy, bro. And the thing is like that's whenever like I started separating myself because
yeah.
I started realizing like, yo, like this is not where I want to go with my life. So it's like started like separating myself slowly, and there was a lot of things that I wasn't doing right at the time. I mean, it was cool and all, but then like I kind of distanced myself from like that, you know, because it's like your friends were becoming my friends, and I
Yeah.
was like, not that is wrong. Like I think that God always puts people in your life so you can realize certain things and certain lessons, right? So it's like it made me realize that I was like, yo, like I need to chill out on this. Like I'm going this path. Like I need to focus on what I'm doing, and I get it dialed in. And it's like you kind of detach yourself from like whatever's going on. And like
Right.
to me, that was simple and easy. Because you guys all knew that I was that type of guy. Like, don't fucking talk to me if I'm busy. You know, it's like
Yeah.
kind of like everybody would leave me alone. You know, because it's like I don't know if Brian's gonna show up or like he's just gonna leave. Like, so it's like I had like that character, you know, like that energy of like I'm in or I'm not, you know. So when you started like separating yourself from your friends and your crowd, like was that tough? Was that hard? Was that complicated?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Why was that?
because they all had to start with my festival friends. Like the connections that I had with them, that knowing that they were the reasons why I faced my trauma.
Okay.
I feel like they were like low key kind of spirit guides in a way without really knowing it subconsciously. So we all like faced each other's traumas and we fixed each other in time. I mean, I don't know what they think of it now, but like, you know, for me, that's how I see it. And I wish the best for them. However, that was the hardest to let go because I knew that they were the reasons that it healed, and I've been wanting to like hang with them again. But the only way to do that is to go to another festival. So obviously I had to put a stop. I mean, I'm like, okay, like maybe later, but at the end of the day, like it's not something I want to do anymore. So that's why I have to literally like separate myself from that.
Yeah.
And then obviously, then it comes down to Greensboro. You know, I used to
Greensboro
live.
is small.
Yeah, it's very small, and like I love all my friends. You know, like I love them all to death.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, it's just like literally my environment. Like the house didn't look too good per se, and obviously with them, you know, they just want to go out and drink. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but like it's just not part of my picture anymore. So I literally had to like dip. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nothing else to it.
You had to
Like, you just
remove
had to-
yourself from
Yeah.
that environment, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you being in that environment was only going to continue to bring in the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So
And-
that was a smart way. And like, when did you make that decision? You're like, fuck it, like let me just eliminate this.
I would say the first 2 weeks of trying to change. I would say, actually, I'll rephrase this. I tried to change, I would say, within the 8 months, 9 months, but there is really no actual progress,
Okay.
right? Until I fully moved out, you know, with
So like, and let's talk about this because that's when you got into alpha, right?
a little later.
And like
yeah.
it took us like so much to get to this given point, but it's like you were already working on yourself and you knew how you had to take yourself out. And I'm guessing you found these things out also because of your spiritual journey and also like you like starting to heal these traumas. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you're starting to work on these things. So like now you're looking at or you're starting to peek into a different perspective of like, I need to get out of this, right? And like you start coming back to town and you come back to Greensboro after you like events and stuff. And like you realize like, yo, like, let me try to remove these things slowly. Like what part of that journey did I reach out to you?
You reached out literally as I was debating to quit my job so that I can actually fully focus on something that I need to find. So I was legitimately, I mean, if Vanessa sees this, like I always talk to her. She's actually from New Jersey. So me and her talk.
What's up, Vanessa?
So me and her would constantly talk back and forth about how like we need to actually escape the rat race. And the only way for me to do that is to literally let go of everything that I have in order to receive something better. So I was literally willing to quit the job, which I did. So that's the thing about it. Like I was like, I'm fully in. Like there's really no other option but to just be fully devoted.
And guys, I want you guys to know that this is Yair. Like Yair, like is somebody that I've met when I was a kid, you know, and it's like the thing about this is like you touch each other every once in a while. What I mean by touch each other is like have a conversation, not physically touch each other, by the way. But it's like you go through our life and you see each other, like you say hi to each other and like kind of like kill it, you know? And it's like, okay, I'm back to my life, you're back to your life. But like there was a moment where like, and this is why I'm so strong spiritually. Like I feel like there's been so many things and it's like because something inside of me told me like, yo, like let's talk to Yair, you know, let's cherish these relationships that we have. And it's like, I don't know where Yair's at, but like, it's like, let me just talk to him. And I know there was a car that we had like gone through and like multiple things happened. And like, that's literally what brought us together a lot of times and like at least have conversations here and there. But the thing about this is that things happen for a reason, you know? And I feel like that vehicle was like something for us to be like, okay, this is here. This is what connects us right now. Because if it wasn't for that, only our friendship would connect us. But like that wasn't enough to like just sit there and have a conversation at the time because you were living your life, I was living my life, and it's beautiful to see those moments where like I reach out to you and I was like, bro, let's have a conversation, let's talk. Like, where are you at? What are you trying to do? And you're just like, bro, like this is what I'm trying to do, trying to escape the rat race. And I'm like, bro, like what the fuck? I'm like, bro, this is what I'm doing. It's like, bro, like why don't you just reach out to me? Like, let's do this together, you know? And it's like, finally, I'm like, yeah, here, fuck it, like let's do it, you know? And it's like, at that time, you had an amazing opportunity. And a lot of people would be like, yo, like, you're stupid for quitting such thing. You know, it's like, you got a job at Mercedes. You're a technician there. You've been working so many years. Like, you have a guaranteed maybe reach 80, maybe 20 years from now, 100K. You know, it's like, that's like guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is like, you were more than willing, but it's because what you had already gone through.
Yeah.
It's like, if it wasn't for that thing, you wouldn't have been willing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have to go what you have to go through. Good guys, if you guys are going through something, you have to understand that it's part of the process. It's like
Yeah.
God, the universe, and the world will put you in those little things like that. One, because you can handle it. Two, because you have to go through it. Three, because there's a brighter future that's gonna come from that.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for you. You know, it's
Yeah.
like you finally did that. That took that leap of faith, and was like, "F it, let me just do it." Now, let's talk about that because I think it took us forever to get to that part. But it's
Yeah.
like, what did like as soon as you came into the team, like what were your thoughts of like, bro, like these guys are fucking crazy, or like what are we talking about? Like, how was this for you? How was it?
Honestly, this is the way I kind of perceived it. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna literally bomb with all these spirits around here. You know, like literally, bro. Like I was like, bro, I'm gonna have an amazing journey, and this is gonna be huge. I came back to the same drive ever since like soccer, like Mercedes. I was like, bro, I'm here for a purpose, and we're gonna absolutely demolish this world. You know, in a good
Yeah.
way. You know, obviously we're gonna help everyone that
Yeah,
you know,
but
that's willing to help.
destroy
But-
our goals. Like that's what you mean by that.
Yeah. So the thing of it is like I knew I had to like literally uncover more of my insecurities because as you can tell, I've been slowly like peeling these things that I've been dealing with for my entire life. I would say my entire life.
Yeah.
And you know, as I keep communicating with anyone I come across with, it's just beautiful. Like anytime I talk to somebody, there's always a smile. And even if someone is mad, like I'll somehow make a smile from them. But at the end of the day, I want to actually help people too. So
Yeah, dude, and I think you're obviously in the right direction. We're like following a strong path that a lot of people are not willing to follow. You know, it's just, the thing is like, how has this or Alpha? How has Alpha improved you? See more, be more clear, also know where you're going, and be driven.
one of the biggest things is just the idea of our own community here. So when you're in the world, I would say out in the world, I'm talking about people who literally don't know what in the world we're talking about.
Yeah.
So when you're out there and you're like the only one, it's hard for you to actually believe in yourself. Right? So like even though you will stick out as a sore thumb, they were frowned upon that because they're like, why aren't you being normal? Right? So being here, it's like it enforces it. It makes me be more bold about it
Yeah.
and believe more about it because we're all literally in the same core values. Right? So that's the thing of it for me. Like I love that because we all help each other and we literally hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude, that's what's crazy. Is like, you know, like a lot of people that come in not ever have uncovered those spiritual connections and maybe unpacked a little bit of trauma. So it's kind of hard for them to like understand the energies, right? And what I mean by this is like people don't even like, you're probably losing engagement right now if you don't understand our conversation. But like if you do understand our conversation, it's like such a like impactful thing. And like I know it because I feel it. So it's like the thing is that like there's so much energy in the room, you know, and there's so many frequencies going around that you really do not understand. And like music helps with that too, right? It's like there's good music, and you guys seen like the music that I be listening to is like just a bunch of fucking like fire ass music to
Yeah.
me, you know? It's like because there's a reason behind it. It's like it allows me to get into a higher frequency state of mind, and it's more of a flow state of like let me continue moving. And like thank God every single day that I feel as energetic as I do, because I see it with the people around me. A lot of people don't feel as energetic, you know? It's like I just want to take over the world every single freaking day.
Yeah.
And like that's the way that I look at it. It's like how can I continue taking over the world? But it's like you get to uncover those spiritual things and like those energies, and it's like it's a boost of life. And it's like, bro, like the more gratefulness that you really are intentionally, which is one of our core values, the more that the world, God, and the universe will give you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
amazing.
dude, and that's beautiful. And it's like, I know that for a lot of people it's hard for to understand, but like trust the process. It's like, bro, when you really wake up and like, dude, this happens, you know, it's like wake up and so much gratefulness that you just want to cry, bro. Like, dude, there's been times where like, I kid you not, bro, like I wake up in the morning And dude, I'm so grateful that I just cry about it, bro. I'm like, holy crap, like this is another fucking day. But like, it's hard for people to understand, bro. Like, it's really hard, but it's like, that's what like really opens you to receive more because God sees that, the universe sees that, and is like, let's go. Bro.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go. You gotta do something, you know? And it's like, you get more clear about it and you're just like, wow, like this is the world. So like you get to a level, and I tell you guys all the time, where like you kind of see where like people are stuck. And it's like we want to help the world, yet you can't really force people to get out of that zone.
Of course.
Because they're going to see it as like there's going to be resistance. There's resistance with every type of like new challenge, a new thing. So they're going to see it as resistance and they're just going to run away from it. So the only thing that you can do is improve yourself, allow people to see those improvements, and it's later going to influence them. And that's the best way to get somebody out of that zone. So for you, for example, now you know a little bit more about yourself. You're more clear. There's more purpose. There's more intention behind every single day. But there's always gratefulness now. It's like, where are you going, bro? Like,
Yeah.
where do you see yourself a year from now? Like, where are you fucking going?
So, of course, from a year from now, like the main focus is obviously to be able to generate your own money, right? So it's just simply the fact us growing as an individual and putting more into myself and eventually attracting the wealth, because it's not just money, it's wealth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and then from there, growing, having my team of individuals who are maybe similar ways, so I can actually get in tune with them too, and kind of help them out with that aspect.
Yeah,
If they're
100%.
willing, obviously if they're not willing, then it's going to be like, one of those things that I might have to figure out how to approach it.
Yeah.
If it makes sense. But I feel like it's more of an issue where like once I reach that point, it's just other responsibilities, right?
Absolutely.
So right now, my main focus is obviously
Right now, you're building your story, bro.
Yeah.
I tell you guys all the time, like somebody out there and somebody right now listening to this is getting impacted by this. I know
Of
it
course.
because I'm getting impacted by it. And the beautiful thing about this is like, bro, your life and your story is beautiful. Like, I would not change anything about it. And you have to realize that. Because of those things, bro, you're gonna be able to relate to way other people. And like that's what you don't understand is like sometimes we're like, why is God putting me through this? Why am I going through this? Bro, you're fucking going through that because you fucking can take that.
Yeah.
Somebody else can't take that. And like that's number one thing that you gotta understand. Second thing is you're going through that bullshit so you can later help others. Because if you don't go through it, then you're not gonna be able to help them. You're gonna be a great leader. I feel it, I see it, I touch it. You see what I'm saying? It's a matter of fucking time. That's all it is. And in all reality, you have the qualities, you have the tools, you have the fucking story. You're building your story right now consistently. It's like I tell all my guys all the time. It's like, guys, if I wouldn't have hit the doors, like you guys wouldn't be able to take advice from me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I had to go through it. The only thing is that I went through it before you guys did. And I never gave up. The only way that you can lose in life is if you give up. The only way that you can lose in your goals is if you give up. Like, the only thing that you can lose at anything is if you give up. But what happens? Most people are fucking bitches because they give up. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, the thing is like taking it back and like realizing what journey you were getting yourself into and how were you going to get aligned towards that. It's like, when you had those curious moments inside of your head of like, there must be something else out there for me. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. Why would you tell yourself back then when you were in those spirits?
When I knew there's more to it, it's kind of mind-boggling because like it's like, for example, like I go back to kind of the psychedelics, like because that's kind of what gave me a different perspective. Once I came back to normal, I was like, dang, like I can actually operate at a very high frequency.
Yeah.
But how do I do it? Now that I'm sober, how do I reach that? So now I'm kind of stuck in this weird situation where like I can reach this high version, but now I need to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
So that was literally my motive. I'm just like, okay, well, let's figure it out. And then like obviously the process is not like
It's not simple.
it's not simple, it's not simple or easy, I should say. but I feel like that's one of the things I had to face, you know.
And still facing, it's like the thing,
Yeah.
like a year from now, like when we have this podcast again a couple months from now, there's gonna be a whole different ball game. It's like what I'm saying is like we're only building ourselves up right now. And like even me to this day, I'm still building my story. Guys, I've only been in the industry for 4 years. People would think that I've been doing this shit for 10 years, but it's because of the way that I'm doing it. It's just being intentional every single freaking day. So the thing about this, Yair, is like, and what I meant by this question is like, if you could see yourself back in those moments right now, the person that you are, and you were stuck there, what kind of tips would you give yourself?
Oh, I don't know, because like I do know or process that all of that had to happen for a reason. So even if I did try to temper something, something would have changed where like this outcome would have been different. So the best thing I probably could have told myself is just embrace the journey.
Embrace the journey. So you wouldn't even change anything because you're
No.
like, I have to go through that shit.
Yeah.
And like embrace the journey. Like, yeah. Okay, that's a great tip, It's like, because there's somebody out there, bro, like that is listening to us speak right now, is listening to us. And the thing about it is that they're at that point of their lives where they're like, there must be something else for me out there, but like, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stuck. Like, what would you say to that individual?
For that individual, I would be more open to be like, like when you track things when you're sad sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right. So that's going to bring more sadness. So be grateful in the moment. And this is what I mean about embracing. Like, look at it in a different perspective where like you could have no legs or you could have no eyes. You could end up having no feelings.
Yeah.
So embrace all of these small things and then attract whatever you're wanting. Attract a better community. Attract a better, whatever may case that you'll be looking for.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And dude, what's crazy is like, you guys don't know the story, but maybe a year back from now is like, I also like try to launch a podcast, but it was with other people. You see what I'm saying? So it's like with other people, another tribe that they weren't really alpha related, and like they were doing their own thing. And because they did a podcast, they kind of invited me to it. And I was like, yo, bro, like help us launch ours, right? We want to launch ours as a company, but like the energy wasn't there. The energy wasn't there. The intention wasn't there. And you kind of felt that. And because of that, I was like, I analyzed everything. And I was like, you know what? It's not my moment right now. That's what I told myself. It's not the moment right now. I'm going to pause this. We're not going to do this. We're not going to launch an episode. Like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. And I trust intuition, right?
Exactly.
And like, I was like, no. And, I'm like, okay, let me just move at the same frequency that I am. Let me continue doing the things that I'm doing. And eventually, I'm going to find those right people that are going to allow us to launch a podcast. And it's going to be a lot more abundant. It's going to be a lot more grateful. It's going to be more intention behind it. And that's the reason why this is going to boom. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
So it's like, I try to start it. And then I realize, because there's a lot of awareness in your brain, that no, bro, like it's not the right time right now. There's gotta be somebody else. And it's like I continue doing my day-to-day things, and you attract those things. And yeah, I attract Luis and I attract you, and it's like now I feel more of a community. Now I feel more better, and now I feel like great. And not saying that I didn't before, but it's like, when you really connect yourself at a deeper level, you start to understand the signs that the universe is throwing your way.
Yeah.
Because there's clarity and there's awareness. And if there's no clarity and there's no awareness, you don't see it. And you kind of just bullshit your entire life. But that's the thing, bro. It's like unlocking those levels. And yeah, I know, like, this is a little bit more of a different perspective than what we've done like here recently in our podcast, but I think that it's something that people need to understand, that this is something that we truly focus on a lot, and it's something that we continuously are going to talk about, right? Sorry, I need water.
Oh, you're good.
But anyways, yeah, bro. So like, I know this is the first episode that we do with El Tiburoncito, and the thing about this is like, bro, what is the thing that you love most about Alpha?
The thing I love most is that we're very, very honest to each other. We are very honest to each other.
We don't bullshit around.
Nah, and I feel like it's a Mexican thing too. You know,
Yeah.
like most Hispanics have that. So that's what I really
Could you
love.
give me an example of that? Like, how honest are we? Like, what kind of thing has happened that you're like, holy crap? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a simple with Luis, you know, like just living with him too. Like he'll just simply just say whatever is on his mind. You know, like I don't want to give exact examples, but yeah, and the same thing here. Like, you know, with you, like you're just I would say for you is more like brutally honest. So and like it may hurt some of us because some of us still take things personal, but
Yeah.
other than that fact, you love us. Like that's
Yeah.
just the way you show love, and like that's
no,
the
but
best
like,
part
here's the
about
thing,
it.
Yair, is like, when you love somebody and you truly love somebody, you're gonna tell them the truth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like a lot of the things that I do speak in the meetings, they're never tailored to just one individual. But because I'm saying it and it can relate to your story and what you're going through, you're like, holy crap. Like, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, he's talking to me. But it's like, you guys don't catch it, bro. But it's for everybody.
Yeah.
But you guys see it as like, oh, he's talking to me. Then you realize that you're taking things a little too personal.
Yeah.
But I always tell you guys this, especially if the message is strong. I always tell you guys, the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I fucking love you guys.
Yeah.
And because it comes out of love. It really does. Like, it never comes out of hate. Like, I don't ever see my team or anybody in my team and it's like, I wish the guy the worst. Absolutely fucking not. Not even anybody in the world, bro. Like, even people that have done me wrong to this freaking day, I don't ever wish them the most. If anything, I love them. And I forgive them. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful things that we need to learn as human beings. Because, dude, I forgive them. And I have conversations with, like, a lot of people in my life. And the thing is like, you can tell with, like, they hold grudges. You get to a point of awareness and clarity, of course. But, like, it's like, for me, for example, it's like, bro, like, I love, like, the people that have done me wrong. Because they have done me wrong, but there was a lesson behind it to uncover, and the universe sent them my way to do me wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, that happens in your life every day. Like, dude, and like, people don't see it, but here's the thing, right? So it's like, life is a fucking elevator. There's gonna be levels where you pick people up, and there's levels where you drop people off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As you're making your vision to go up, bro. As you're making your vision to go up, like, and you're pursuing the higher version of yourself at a higher frequency, it's like, you're dropping people off. Okay, like, let me pick this guy up right here. Okay, how long he's gonna be with? Okay, drop him off. I need somebody else. And it's like consistently, like every day in our lives, that's going on, and we don't even realize it because it's like year to year. It's like, and a lot of people that you live in the past, bro, like it hurts,
Yeah.
but it has to be done for you to elevate into the higher level of yourself.
Yeah. I guess I'm starting the beginning courses of a few levels. Yeah. And that's a lot of people.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. It's like this podcast, like this episode was very fucking powerful, guys. Now, with that said, I think like we spoke a lot today.
Yeah.
It was a long podcast. It was like we were in a flow state. I don't even know how much time it went, but look, guys, if there was something out of this message that you guys took, like, share this, please. Like, let's touch people. Let's touch communities. Let's build a great environment. This is a little bit of what Alpha does. It's like talking about Yair. Like, you're gonna find everybody. Like, we all relate to each other. Our conversations are so freaking impactful and powerful. And I'm just grateful overall for you guys even listening. If you listen to the whole thing, like, props to you. Like, send me a message. But like, the thing is like, and tell me what you learned, because I'm excited, and I'm excited to continue going, and I'm excited to continue pushing what we have here in our community. And let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go,
All right,
man.
but like it, share it, throw it on your feed, send it to somebody that you like want them to listen to this, and like they're a good point of their life where like they will build up, and like let's fucking go. All right, let's get it.